Hey, welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. We're back with a brand new book review. This one is about the very well known Mark Twain. It's called The Wit and Wisdom of Mark Twain. It's edited by Alex Ayers, and it was actually quite interesting. If you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe and check out the website, femyoga.com. The homepage has a little short YouTube video where you can learn all about why we started this channel and what we're looking to do here in the future. And if you like what you see, please click that support button and support the channel. If you subscribe for monthly sponsorships, you'll be entered to win $100 every 17th. So on the 17th of every month, you'll be entered to win $100 if you are a monthly subscriber of the channel by going to that website, clicking the support button, and subscribing for the monthly option. Thank you guys so much, every single person that makes this show possible. We really couldn't do this without you. So one funny little thing about this book is I got this from my grandma off of her bookshelf, and I think it was sitting there for quite a while because as I was reading it, I was bending the book backwards and it broke in half. Not quite in half, but it broke in two. So I posted a picture of this on my Instagram, FemYogaTaylor, and this is what we're dealing with, but it's fine. It was still a really good book, and I like the way that this guy, Alex, edited it, because it's alphabetical. So if you open up to any section, you'll see, I'm just gonna use the front half of the book for the review. You'll see, like, it'll have the letter D and then different categories. So dancing, death, what else? Deception, dedication, democracy, dentistry, and quotes that Mark Twain had on each of those items. So I've heard some different things about Mark Twain from different people throughout time, and I had never really read much of him before. So these are just little tiny quotes and excerpts from some of his writings, so you don't really get much context from it, but you can get, there's a lot of one-liners, really clever, witty comments here, and there was also some advice, well, before I get into that, let me just finish what I was saying about, I finished reading a book recently by him called Letters from Hawaii, and I didn't like that one as much. I definitely preferred the kind of the highlights, I guess you would say. Remember this, you know, he was a late 19th century writer and died in 1910. So his style of writing and the language they use is a bit different and is a little bit harder to understand. He uses some vocabulary we don't use as much anymore, so I did have to pull out good old Google a few times. But I preferred this one to the last one I reviewed, which was Letters from Hawaii. So what I was going to say about... Oh, yes, he had some advice in here about, storytelling. So what he said was very important when you're trying to tell a good story. One is you don't ask the person if they've heard the story before. Let them stop you if they want to stop you. Otherwise, just tell the story as if it's the first time that they heard it. Don't assume that you're repeating yourself. And the power of the pause. They highlighted that a lot throughout the book. He talked about how powerful a pause is and how important it is to giving a good speech and keeping your audience's attention. He said if the pause is too long or too short or wrongly placed, it's really not powerful at all, and it can actually do the opposite effect to your speech or your story. I thought that was pretty interesting considering the line of work I'm in as a live streamer, and he also said something that I am very guilty of not following, which is to always have your speech or whatever it is that you want to say, have it written down and memorized before you deliver it to your audience. That's going to help you to make sure that you say everything you want to say and deliver it in the best possible way you can, so you're putting your best foot forward, but it's also out of respect for your audience, so you're not doing kind of what I do here on my live streams, which is jump around a little bit and maybe forget certain pieces that I wanted to mention until later and things like that. So I agree. I was a member of Toastmasters for a while. I think it's very, very important to write down what you want to say and to rehearse it. Practice it until you have it memorized so you don't have to be up there, you know, reading from a script. Improper pauses can be kind of funny. Josh, first comment to the broadcast. Thanks for being here. We are getting pretty close to our YouTube monetization goal, so thank you guys for watching this video so much. I would like the challenge of trying to keep this between 8 and 10 minutes, which is supposedly the ideal length of time for a YouTube video, and because we're not getting a lot of comments live, I think I can pull this off. So we have a couple more minutes, and then we'll wrap this up, and I'm going to go live over on Instagram reading a new book called The 100 Best Ways to Stay Young. Thank you to Francois for gifting me that book, and if you have books you'd like to see me read or have reviewed by me, go to femyoga.com, click the contact button, and you'll see my P.O. box, or you can click the support button, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see my Amazon wish list, which has all sorts of books that I want to read that I haven't yet got my hands on. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. Now, another interesting thing about this book is he actually, I think he gets a rep for being a bit of a misogynist, potentially. Now, remember, again, this is late 19th century, so it was very common to be to be anti-woman and pro-man. However, there were some quotes in this book where he was promoting and advocating for women's rights, and he was at women's rights conferences and conventions giving speeches, and there was times where he was a really funny guy, and there were times where he would meet someone, say in a bathroom at a lecture that he was giving, and hey Mark, and the person there would say, oh, are you here for the Mark Twain lecture? And he'd be like, yeah, actually I am. And they'd be like, well, did you get your ticket already? And he's like, oh, no, I don't have a ticket, because he's the guest of honor, right? He doesn't buy a ticket to his own show. But they don't recognize him, right? The person in the bathroom doesn't realize it's Mark Twain, so they say to him, oh, well, it's going to be standing room only. All the seats are already sold out. You're going to have to stand. And he would say, oh, I always have to stand at Mark Twain lectures. Just a clever little joke, a little story that he would tell, and that's kind of his style of humor. He definitely talked about how sorrow and the dark side of life is where humor really derives from. It's almost the father of humor, is when you can make somebody feel bad for the person in the story just long enough for the punchline so that you laugh and you almost don't really care so much about what the outcome of the story was, because at least you got a good laugh out of it. And he also said that humor was a great equalizer among all different ranks and classes and genders and ages, and that if you can get somebody to laugh, that it softens that line of I'm different from you, but that we're all connected through the sense of humor. And I love humor. If you know me, I laugh at almost anything. I absolutely love a good joke. So I enjoyed reading a lot of this book because there were some really clever jokes in there. See if I can remember any other ones as I catch up with the comments. Hey Mark! Oh, awesome. You got did you get yourself a little Christmas present there? Harlan Ellison. I've not heard of him before. Who's Harlan Ellison? They did talk about Mark Twain's, basically the pre-Mark Twain, the Mark Twain before Mark Twain. I've never heard of this guy because Mark Twain became so prolific, but for Mark Twain, this guy was like his Mark Twain, and he remembers meeting him and some of the jokes. I remember that guy did a toast at a gala one time or some event and said, "We give you Upper Canada." And Mark Twain is like, "Why did you," later on he says to him, "Why did you give us Upper Canada?" He's like, "Because I don't want it." It's just like weird little jokes like that just make people go, wait, what? You know, and that's kind of where the humor comes from it, because it's unexpected. And the importance of when you're delivering a joke, you should never allow the audience to realize that you're aware that you're telling a joke, right? You're kind of just saying it like it's a normal thing to say. You're just kind of telling a ridiculous story or making some ridiculous comment. And you're acting as if that's normal, and you're not expecting anybody to laugh at it. And that's the best and most proper way to deliver your humor. So that's a pretty good summary, I think, of this book. It was really good. I definitely recommend it. There was a lot of good little laughs in here. And it's also just interesting to see how much, I mean, honestly, the things that he said about individualism versus, let's say, socialism or communism, America and politics versus other country's politics, what he says about religion and the world's religions, and how each religion thinks that they are serving God and that all the other ones are not, and each one is so sure. I mean, there's just, it was really interesting to see how these common threads of thought have carried through the ages, and that we all have these same revelations, and then we realize it's not a revelation. We're not discovering anything new. People have known this for hundreds of years. So that's kind of an equalizer, I guess, when you read books from history and you realize that what you think you're so enlightened and you understand all these things that other people don't understand, and you realize that intellectuals have been realizing these things forever, and you're not the first one, you know, you're kind of late to the party, not the innovator here. You're going to send me one of Ellison's books. Thank you so much, Mark. That's great. That's your favorite author. Wow. Shatter Day is the name of one. Awesome. Hey, Matt, good to see you. A couple monthly sponsors in the house tonight. You guys will be entered in the $100 giveaway next month. And we just hit 11 minutes, so I'm trying to keep my YouTube videos, if possible, when I do a book review, to about 8 to 10 minutes, so people actually click on it, and it's not like hours long like all my other videos. So please feel free to check out my other videos. I'm going to shut this one down because that is a pretty good summary of this book, and I will make sure you're subscribing because I read a new book every single week, especially right now, the end of the year in 2018. I'm going to be reading probably a book a day, trying to hit my goal of 52 books for the year. And I'm going to be starting a new book right now on Instagram Live. You can catch me over there at Fem Yoga Taylor. The live replay will be available for 24 hours from when I finish it, and that is going to be 100 Best Ways to Stay Young. That's the next book I'm going to be reading and reviewing, and you can also sign up to receive my book reviews in writing to your email. It's not all the stuff I said now, just a few sentences or paragraphs, and it's like I read a book a week so that you don't have to. And I love reading, and I read a lot of books for practical use, not so much fiction and things like that. So if you're interested in that, it's totally free, and I only send 3 emails a year, one every 4 months, and it's a summary and review of all the books that I read in those 4 months. You just run over to femyoga.com. You'll see the sign up right there on all the pages, but right there on the home page too. Prashant, hey, there's our winner of the $150 we gave away last night. Prashant, I hope that you still have that $150 and you didn't go blow through it all already today, but if you did, I'm sure it was a good reason, and I'm so glad you got that right before Christmas. You're awesome. You guys are all awesome. Thank you, Josh. I'll see you guys over on Instagram. We're going to be reading a new book. It's not going to be the most exciting broadcast. We'll be live for an hour, and we'll just kind of go through and read that. And I'm only a few pages into it, so I'll be up late tonight reading that and hopefully have the review for you guys tomorrow. Stay tuned for more awesome content on this channel. New content creators, new books, new ideas, new name. We're going to be changing the name soon, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope to see you back. Remember to hit that subscribe button. And this has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. See you on the next one.